Hello student, in today's class we are going to discuss mensuration formula part 1. Now there is a disclaimer, the images, text and other material used in our presentation are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concern or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the same. Now see the first one, square formula. So this is a square. Now what is the area of the square? Side multiplying by side. So we can say that if we let it as a side s, so we can say that s square, or we can say that the diagonal square by 2, we get the area of the square. Next one, 18.1.2 formula of related to square. So this is a square, and if we need to calculate the side, if we have the area, so we can say that side will become under root area. Next one, 18.1.3. So this is square, and the perimeter of the square is 4 into multiplying by the side. So we get the perimeter of the square. 18.1.4 formula. So this is square. Now the diagonal, if we need to calculate of a square, is which is d equals to side under root 2. Next one is 18.1.5 formula of square. So this is a square. So the in radius of the square is side by 2. We get the in radius. Next one is 18.1.6. So this is a square. So circumradius will become diagonal by 2, or we can say that side upon root 2. We get the circumradius of the square. Now move to second one, rectangle. So formula related to rectangle, 18.2.1. So this is the diagram of the rectangle, length and width. So the area is length multiplying by width. We get the area of the rectangle. Next one is 18.2.2. So this is the rectangle. So the perimeter of the rectangle is 2 times of L plus B. Next one is 18.2.3. So this is the diagram of rectangle. Now the diagonal of the rectangle is under root L square plus B square. Next one, 18.2.4. So this is the diagram of rectangle. So the radius of the maximum size circle that can be put inside the rectangle is breadth by 2. Next one. This is the diagram of a rectangle, and there is a outer diagram of the rectangle. So if we need to calculate the area of the track, so this is a track. So area of track will become L1 into B1 minus L2 into B2. Then we get the area of the track. Next one is 18.2.6, crossing road inside rectangle. So the formula become area of the crossing road is, if x is the crossing road, so formula become Lx plus bx minus x square, or we can say that when we take x common, we got under in the bracket L plus b minus x. So we get the area of the crossing road, where x is the width of the path in the rectangular field. Next one, crossing road inside rectangle. So perimeter of the path will become 2 times of L plus b minus 2x, and x is the width of the path. Next one is path inside a rectangle. So area of path will become 2 times of x in the bracket L plus b minus 2x. Then we get the area of the path if path is inside the rectangle, where x is the width of the path. Path inside a rectangle. So what will be the perimeter of the path? So perimeter of the path will become 4 times L plus b minus 2x, where x represents the width of the path. Path outside the field or rectangular field. So area of the path will become 2x in the bracket L plus B plus 2x, where x represents the width of the path. Now path outside the rectangular field. So the perimeter of the path will become 4 times in the bracket L plus B plus 2x, where x is the width of the path. Now a scalene triangle, so 18.3.1. So this is the diagram of a scalene triangle. All the length of the sides are the different. So the area is, we can calculate by the formula 1 by 2 into base into height. Next one, a scalene triangle. So this is the diagram. So area we can also calculate by using the Heron's formula, which is under root s into s minus a into s minus b into s minus c, where s represents the semi-perimeter, and we can calculate s by sum of all the sides dividing by 2. So we can calculate the area of the scalene triangle. Next one, 18.3.3. So this is the diagram. So we can say that if we have the angle in a scalene triangle, so we can say that the area will become 1 by 2 into BC sine A, or we can say that 1 by 2 AB sine C, or we can say that 1 by 2 AC sine B. Then we can also get the area of the scalene triangle. Next one, 18.3.4. So this is the diagram. So the in radius of a scalene triangle is area upon semi-perimeter. Then we get the in radius of the scalene triangle. Next one, 18.3.5. So this is the diagram. So the circumradius become product of all the sides A into B into C upon 4 into area of the triangle. Then we get the circumradius of the scalene triangle. Next one, right angled isosceles triangle, 18.4.1. So this is the diagram of a right angled isosceles triangle. So if this both sides are A, then next side will become root 2A, because this angle is 90 degree according to given diagram. So area will become 1 by 2 into base into height, which is both are A. So we can say that 1 by 2 A square. Next one is 18.4.2. So 18.4.2 become, this is the diagram of right angle isosceles triangle. So the perimeter become 2A plus root 2A. Next one, 18.4.3, right angle isosceles triangle. So this is the diagram. Now height will become A upon root 2, and A represent the isosceles side, or we can say the equal sides of the triangle. So we can calculate the height by the formula of A upon root 2. Next one is right angle triangle, formula 18.5.1. So this is the diagram. P represent the perpendicular, H represent the hypotenuse, and B represent the base of this right angle triangle. So the area will become 1 by 2 into perpendicular into base. So P into B, we get the area of the right angle triangle. Now move to next one, 18.5.2. So this is the right angle triangle diagram. So the perimeter becomes sum of all the sides, perpendicular plus base plus hypotenuse. Next one, 18.5.3, right angled triangle. So this is the diagram of right angled triangle. So the area will become 1 by 2 into P into B, perpendicular into base. Next one, 18.5.4 in right angle triangle. So this is the diagram. So the perimeter become P plus B plus H. Next one, in right angle triangle. This is the diagram of right angle triangle. So we can calculate the circumradius by hypotenuse by 2. So we can write it H by 2. In radius will become perpendicular plus base minus hypotenuse by 2. Then we get the in radius of the right angle triangle. Next, equilateral triangle. So first formula 18.6.1 of the equilateral triangle. A triangle whose all sides are equal, we know that, is called equilateral triangle. So this is the diagram. Now we can calculate the area. Area is root 3 by 4 into side square. So we can say that root 3 by 2 if side is a. So we can say that root 3 by 4 a square. Next one, 18.6.3 equilateral triangle. So this is the diagram. So the perimeter will become sum of all the sides. So if side is a, so we can say that 3 into side or 3a. Next one, in equilateral triangle. So this is the diagram. So the in radius of a equilateral triangle is side upon 2 root 3, or we can say that h upon 3 or a upon 2 root 3 if side is a. Next one in equilateral triangle. So this is the diagram. Now the circumradius of a equilateral triangle is a upon root 3, or we can say that 2h by 3. Next one, quadrilateral 18.7.1. So this is the diagram of a quadrilateral whose so the area of a quadrilateral means a bounded figure with 4 sides. So area of a quadrilateral, of any quadrilateral, we calculate by using the formula 1 by 2 into AC multiplying by h1 plus h2, and h1 h2 represent the perpendicular on side AC. So we get the area of the quadrilateral. Next one, formula of the quadrilateral 18.7.2. So this is the diagram. So the perimeter will become sum of all the sides. So AB plus BC plus CD plus AD. We get the perimeter of the quadrilateral. Now next one is parallelogram. So 18.8.1. So we know that parallelogram is a quadrilateral whose opposite sides are parallel and equal to each other. So area will become A into H, base into height. If we need to calculate the area of the parallelogram, so we can say that base into height, and if base is side is A and multiplying the altitude, height it means altitude height. So we get the area. 18.8.2. So this is the diagram of a parallelogram. So the perimeter will become 2 times of A plus B. Next one, 18.8.3. So this is the diagram of a parallelogram. So we can say that the diagonal relationship in a parallelogram. So AC square, diagonal AC square plus BD square, we can say that 2 times of A square plus B square. And A represent the length of AB and B represent the length of BC. So the diagonal relation in parallelogram become AC square plus BD square equals to 2 times of A square plus B square. Alternative area formula using diagonals in parallelogram. So this is the diagram. So area will become 2 times of under root S into S minus A into S minus B into S minus D when we have one diagonal. So when we have one diagonal, so we can say that this is the become two equal triangles in this formation. So we can calculate it by using the triangle formula also. So by using the triangle formula, so this is the D. So we can say that ABD semi-perimeter. So we can calculate S into S minus A, S minus B into S minus D, where S represents the semi-perimeter, which is become A plus B plus D by 2. Next one, rhombus 18.9.1. So a rhombus is a quadrilateral whose all sides are equal and diagonal bisect perpendicularly to each other. We know that. So area will become 1 by 2 into D1 into D2. Next one, 18.9.2 of the rhombus. So this is the diagram. So the perimeter of a rhombus will become sum of all the sides. So all sides are equal. So we can say that if side is A, so the perimeter will become 4A. Next one. Relationship between side, length and diagonal. Formula is 18.9.3. So this is the diagram of the rhombus and relation between side, length and diagonal. So we can say that 4 side square equals to diagonal 1 square plus diagonal 2 square. So if we have the diagonal, so we can calculate sum of all the square of the four sides, square of the four side multiplying by 4. So next one is 18.10.1 in trapezium. So this is the diagram of a trapezium. Trapezium is a quadrilateral whose one pair of side are parallel and one pair of side are non-parallel. And the area become of the parallel of the trapezium is 1 by 2 sum of the parallel side multiplying by height. So if sum of the parallel side are A and B, so we can write it A plus B by 2 into height, and height is altitude. So we get the area of the trapezium. Next, 18.10.2. So this is the diagram of trapezium. So the perimeter of a trapezium will become sum of all the sides. So AB plus BC plus CD plus AD. Next, area formula explanation. We can see, so this is the diagram of trapezium. So we can say that area become 1 by 2 sum of parallel side multiplying by distance between them. Distance between them, it means distance between these parallel sides. So we get the area of the trapezium. Now diagonal relation in trapezium. So this is the diagram of a trapezium where we have two diagonal D1 and D2. So we can say that D1 square plus D2 square equals to square sum of the square of non-parallel side, which is C and D. So C square plus D square plus 2 times of product of the parallel side, which are A and B, length of A and B. So plus 2 into AB. Next one, property of regular polygon. So each sides are equal, each interior and exterior angle are equal. Next one, 18.11.2 in regular polygon. Sum of all interior angles of a regular polygon with n side is n minus 2 into 180. Next, 18.11.4. Sum of all exterior angle of a n-sided regular polygon is 360 degree. Next one, 18.15.11.5 in regular polygon. So internal angle plus external angle is always 180 degree. Next one, 18.11.7 of a regular polygon. Number of sides of a regular polygon is 360 upon external angle. In regular polygon, 18.11.8, number of diagonals of a regular polygon is n into n minus 3 by 2, and n represent the number of sides in a regular polygon. Next one is in regular polygon, 18.12.1. So this is the diagram of regular hexagon. So the area of the regular hexagon is 3 root 3 by 2 multiplying by side square, or if side is a, so we can say that a square. Next one, in regular hexagon, 18.12.2. So this is the diagram of regular hexagon. So the perimeter will become 6a. Next one, 18.12.3 in regular hexagon. This is the diagram of regular hexagon. So each interior angle is 120 degree. Next, regular hexagon, 18.12.4. So this is the diagram of regular hexagon, and each exterior angle is 60 degree. In regular hexagon, 18.12.5 formula. So this is the diagram of a regular hexagon, and these are the diagonals. So the total diagonals drawn in regular hexagon are 9. We can calculate by using the formula. Next one is 18.12.6 in regular hexagon. So this is the diagram. Now largest diagonal of this regular hexagon is FC, AD and BE. All three are the length of the diagonals is 2 times of side, If side is A, so we can say that 2A. Next one. 18.12.7 in regular hexagon. So this is the diagram. So the regular hexagon equals to 6 equilateral triangle area of the triangle, or we can say that 3 rhombus area. Now regular octagon. So this is the diagram of regular octagon. So the area become 2A square in the bracket 1 plus under root 2. Next one is perimeter become of a regular octagon is 8A, sum of all the sides. In regular octagon 18.13.3. So this is the diagram where we draw a circle inside the octagon. So the in radius of the regular octagon is a upon 2 root 2 minus 2. So we can write it a upon, we can take 2 common. So we can write it a upon 2 in the bracket root 2 minus 1. This is the in radius of the regular octagon. Next one is 18.13.4 in regular octagon. So this is the diagram. Now the circumradius will become a upon whole under root 2 minus root 2. So when we simplifying it, what we can write? We can write it under root 4 plus 2 root 2 by 2 multiplying by side of the length of the side of the regular octagon. Next, in regular octagon 18.13.5. So this is the diagram. Now we can clearly see that the interior angle in regular octagon will become, each interior angle is 135 degree. In regular octagon 18.13.6. This is the regular octagon. So the each exterior angle will become, because the sum of the interior and exterior angle is 180. So each exterior angle will become 45 degree. In regular octagon 18.13.7. So this is the diagram of regular octagon and these are the diagonals. So number of diagonals in regular octagon is 20. Now see the first formula, circle 18.14.1. Now this is the diagram of circle, radius and center O. So what is the circumference of the circle? We know that 2 pi r, or we can say that pi into d, because 2r become diameter of the circle. Next one 18.14.2 in circle. So this is the diagram. Now the area, we can say that pi by 4 d square, and d represent the diameter of the circle, or we can say that pi r square. Ring of a circular path. So formula is 18.15.1. So this is the diagram of a ring of a circular path. So outer circumference will become 2 pi capital R. Next one, ring of the circular path. So this is the diagram. And the inner circumference will become 2 pi small r. Next one. In ring of the circular path 18.15.3. So this is the diagram. We can calculate the area of the circular path, which is pi in the bracket r square multiplying by capital R square minus small r square. Semicircle. So 18.16.1. So this is the diagram of the semicircle with radius r. So the area of semicircle will become 1 by 2 pi r square, because the area of the circle is pi r square. So semicircle will become half of the pi r square. Next one is 18.6.2 of the semicircle. So this is the diagram. So the perimeter of the semicircle is pi r plus 2r, or we can say that 2r represented the diameter of the circle, semicircle. So we can say that pi r plus d. Next one, area of the sector of the circle. So if theta be the angle at the center of a circle of radius r, so this is the diagram. So the length of the arc PQ become 2 pi r into theta upon 360. We can calculate the length of the arc of the circle. Next one is 18.17.2. So this is the diagram. So we can calculate the area of the sector OPRQO by using the formula area of the circle is pi r square into theta upon 360. Then we get the area of the sector. Next one is 18.17.3. So this is the diagram of the circle of the area of sector. So the area of the minor segment will become area of the sector OPRQO minus area of the triangle OPQ. Next one is 18.17.4 area of the sector of the circle. This is the diagram. So we can also calculate the area of the major segment, which becomes area of the circle minus area of the minor sector. Then we get the area of the major segment. Next one. Cubes 18.1.1. Cubes having a 3D three-dimensional figure whose all sides are length, width and height are equal. So this is the diagram of a cube. Edge of cube we know that as a length, breadth and height are all equal and we can represent by A. Next one of the cube 18.18.2. So we can say that this is the diagram. So volume of a cube is edge cube, or we can say that side cube. Next one of the cube. So this is the diagram. So the lateral surface area of a cube is 4a square. Next one. 18.18.4 of cube. So this is the diagram. And the total surface area will become 6 times edge square, or we can say that 6a square is the total surface area of the cube. Next one. 18.18.5 of the cube. So this is the diagram. And we can say that the diagonal of the cube is root 3 times edge, or we can say that root 3a or side. Now next one is the cuboid 18.19. Now see the first formula of the cuboid. So this is the diagram. In cuboid there will be length, width and height will be different. So the volume will become L into B into H. Next formula of the cuboid 18.19.2. So we can say that this is the diagram of a cuboid. So we can calculate the lateral surface area, which is 2 times of L plus B multiplying by H. Next one. So 18.19.3 in cuboid. So this is the diagram of a cuboid. So the total surface area becomes 2 times of LB plus BH plus LH. L represent length, B represent width and H represent height. So we get the total surface area of cuboid. Next one is 18.19.4 of the cuboid. So this is the diagram of the cuboid. So the diagonal is under root L square plus B square plus H square. We get the length of the diagonal of the cuboid. Next one of the cuboid 18.19.5. So this is the diagram. So the longest rod that can be put inside the cuboid, which is equals to diagonal under root L square plus B square plus H square. Next one. Cylinder 18.20. Now see the first formula of cylinder. So this is the diagram of the cylinder, radius r and height h. So the volume of the cylinder is pi r square into h. Next one. So 18.20.2 of the cylinder. So this is the diagram. Now what is the curved surface area? Curved surface area of the cylinder is 2 pi r into h. Next one. 18.20.3 of the cylinder. So this is the diagram. And the total surface area will become 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r square, which is equal to 2 pi r in the bracket r plus h. Next one is cylinder. So 18.20.4 of the cylinder formula. So this is the diagram of the cylinder. So the curved surface area ratio, total surface area will become H ratio R plus H. Next one, hollow cylinder. So 18.21.1 of the hollow cylinder. So this is the diagram of the hollow cylinder. There will be a small radius and large radius, outer circle radius and inner circle radius, and there is a height h. So we can say that the volume will become pi r square h. So in that case, r will become r capital R square minus small r square. So pi multiplying by capital R square minus small r square whole multiplying by h. Then we get the volume of the hollow cylinder. Next of the hollow cylinder formula. So this is the diagram. Now the curved surface area of the hollow cylinder is 2 pi multiplying by capital R plus small r in the bracket and whole multiplying by h. Then we get the curved surface area. Next one of the hollow cylinder formula. So this is the diagram, and the total surface area will become 2 pi in the bracket small r plus capital R multiplying by h plus capital R minus small r. Then we get the total surface area of the hollow cylinder. Next one, cone 18.22. Now see the formula related to cones. So cone is a solid or hollow body with a round base and pointed top. And this is the diagram of a cone, where h is the altitude height, r is the radius, l represent the slant height. Next, 18.22.1 of the cone. So this is the diagram of a cone. Now the volume, we know that 1 by 3 area of the base into height. So we can write it 1 by 3 pi r square into h. We get the volume of the cone. Next formula of the cone, 18.22.2. So this is the diagram of the cone, and the slant height we can calculate by using the formula L is equals to under root r square plus h square. And how we get this r square plus h square? Because a, if we take this point O, so then we can calculate by using the formula of the Pythagoras theorem. If this is O, so A, B, and if we let it as a C, so AOC is a right angle triangle, and by using the right angle triangle formula, Pythagoras theorem, then we can calculate L, which is under root r square plus h square, because it represents the hypotenuse. So perpendicular plus base square in under root form. So we get the slant height L. Next one, 18.22.3 of the cone. So this is the diagram. Now the curved surface area will become pi r L, and L, we know that how we can calculate L, under root r square plus h square. So if we have the value of r square h square, so we can calculate the curved surface area. Next one, 18.22.4 of the cone. This is the diagram of a cone. So what is the total surface area of the cone? So first we calculate pi rl by the lateral surface area, then we add the base area, which is pi r square. So we get pi r multiplying by L plus r. This is the total surface area, where r represent the radius of the base, h represent the height, and L represent the slant height. Next one, frustum 18.23. Now see the formula. So frustum is a cone is cut by a plane parallel to the base so as to divide cone into two parts, upper part and lower part. Then the lower part is called frustum. So this is the diagram of a frustum, where L represents the slant height, small r represent the radius of the smaller circle, and capital R represent the radius of the larger circle, and h represent the altitude or height of this frustum. Now, first formula of the frustum 18.23.1. So this is the diagram of a frustum. So we can calculate the slant height L, which is equals to under root h square plus capital R minus small r whole square. Then we get the slant height. Next one, 18.23.2 of the frustum. So this is the diagram. Now curved surface area of the frustum is pi in the bracket capital R plus small r multiplying by L. We get the curved surface area of the frustum. Now 18.23.3 of the frustum. So this is the diagram. Now we can calculate the total surface area of the frustum, which is pi capital R plus small r multiplying by L plus small r square plus capital R square. Then we get the total surface area. Next one. Frustum 18.23.4. So this is the diagram. Now we get the volume by the using formula pi into h by 3 in the bracket small r square plus capital R square plus small r into capital R. Then we get the volume of the frustum, where r represents the radius, small r represents the radius of the top, and capital R represents the radius of the base, h represents the height, L represents the slant height. Next one is sphere 18.24. So first formula related to a sphere is 18.24.1. So this is the diagram of the sphere. Now the volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Next formula of the sphere 18.24.2. So this is the diagram, and the surface area is 4 pi r square. Next one is hemisphere 18.25. So 18.25.1. This is the diagram of the hemisphere. So we can say that the volume will become 2 by 3 pi r cube. Next one is hemisphere 18.25.2. So this is the diagram, and the curved surface area of the hemisphere is 2 pi r square. Next one. So 18.25.3 of the hemisphere. So this is the diagram. We can calculate the total surface area, which is equals to 2 pi r square plus pi r square. So it will become 3 pi r square is the total surface area of the hemisphere. Next one. Prism 18.26. So 18.26.1 represent. This is the diagram of a prism. In a prism, base and top both are the same shape. So if the base is triangle, then the top will also be triangle. If base is trapezium, then top is also trapezium. If base is pentagon, then top is pentagon. They are in the same shape. So the volume of the prism we can calculate by using the formula area of the base multiplying by the height. So next one, formula related to prism. So this is the diagram. Now the lateral surface area of the prism will become perimeter of the base multiplying by the height. Next one. 18.26.3 formula of the prism. So we can say that this is the diagram of the prism. So the total surface area become lateral surface area plus 2 times of the base area. Then we get the total surface area of the prism. Now we move to pyramid, which is 18.27. So 18.27.1, the formula related to pyramid. So this is the diagram of the pyramid. So lateral surface area of the pyramid will become 1 by 2 into perimeter of base multiplying by the slant height. Then we get the lateral surface area of the pyramid. Next formula related to pyramid 18.27.2. So this is the diagram. Now we can clearly see that there is a slant height, there is apex, there is a slant edges and radius and height in pyramid. So the total surface area will become lateral surface area plus base area. We can add just base area, then we get the total surface area. Next one. In the pyramid 18.27.3 formula. So this is the diagram. So volume will become 1 by 3 into base area into height. So because all the sides will be in triangular form, so we need to calculate the base area multiplying by the height and taking 1/3. then we get the volume of the pyramid. Next one is 2018.28, which is tetrahedron. Now see the formula related to tetrahedron. So 18.28.1, this is the diagram of a tetrahedron. This is a specific type of a pyramid in which their base is always a triangular form. So the slant height L will become root 3 by 2a. Next one. 18.28.2 of the tetrahedron formula. So this is the diagram. Now the lateral surface area will become root 3 by 4 into side square multiplying by 3, or we can say that 3 root 3 by 4 side square. Next formula of the tetrahedron. So this is the diagram. So the total surface area will become multiplying by 4, 3 root 3 by 4 side square multiplying by the 4, then we get the total surface area, which is equals to 3 root 3 a square. 4 will be cancelled out, so we get the total surface area, which is root 3 a square. A represents the side of the tetrahedron. Next one. In tetrahedron 18.28.4 formula, so this is the diagram. Now the height we can calculate by using the formula root 2 by root 3 multiplying by a. Next one, formula related to tetrahedron 18.28.5. So this is the diagram of tetrahedron. So the volume will become 1 by 3rd into root 3 by 4 into side square multiplying by height, which is root 2 upon root 3 into a. So when we simplifying it, we get a cube upon 6 root 2. So the volume of the tetrahedron is side cube upon 6 root 2. Next one. Pentagonal prism 18.29. Now see the formula related to pentagonal prism 18.29.1. So this is the diagram of the pentagonal prism. As a base as the top. So the surface area of the pentagonal prism will become under root 3 side square. Then we get the surface area of the pentagonal prism. Next formula related to pentagonal prism. So this is the diagram. Side and height is h, height is h, and side is a. So the lateral surface area become 5 times of side multiplying by the height. Then we get the lateral surface area. Next one. In pentagonal prism, formula related to 18.29.3. So this is the diagram of a regular pentagonal prism. So we can calculate the total surface area, which is 5 times of side into height plus 2 root 3 into side square. Then we get the total surface area of pentagonal prism. Next one, in pentagonal prism 18.29.4. So this is the diagram of a regular pentagonal prism. So the volume will become under root 3 side square multiplying by h. Then we get the volume of the pentagonal prism. Next, hexagonal prism 18.30. Now see the first formula 18.30.1. So this is the diagram of the hexagonal prism. Side is a, height is h is given. So we can say that the base area of the hexagonal prism will become 3 root 3 by 2 into side square. Next formula of hexagonal prism 18.30.2. So this is the diagram of hexagonal prism. So the lateral surface area becomes 6a into h, which is 6ah. A represents the side, h represents the height of the hexagonal prism. Next, in a hexagonal prism 18.30.3. Now this is the diagram. So the total surface area is 6ah plus 3 root 3a square. So we get the total surface area of the hexagonal prism. Next one is hexagonal prism is 18.30.4. So this is the diagram of the hexagonal prism. So we get the volume, which is 3 root 3 by 2 into side square multiplying by height. Then we get the volume of the hexagonal prism. Thank you.